This is part 2 of the building process. Hi, I'm Dale Frazell. Welcome to my channel, New Construction Realtor. I hope you watched part 1. Now let's jump into part 2. Number 15, electrical meter panels installed at the house. This is when temporary power is now switched over to permanent power. Number 16, exterior wall finishes applied, such as siding, stucco, brick, etc. 17, roof shingles are now applied. Number 18, HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. They come in and they do their roof, and this also is inspected. This is where they put the vents in the floor or the ceiling, and they run all their trunk lines. You'll see them up in the framing, either going to the furnace if the furnace is in the attic or into the garage. Number 19, the electrical rough-in. Now, they are the last ones to come in because they don't need to have any grade or any kind of pitch to their wires. They have to be obviously done correctly, but they have the ability to be flexible to go around, say, plumbing pipes or what have you. Not that they would go near it, but they just have that more flexibility. That's why they're the last ones to come in. And yes, they are also inspected. Number 20, the framing inspection. Now, I know that seems a little out of sequence, but the fact is that, like I mentioned earlier, when a plumber comes in, he'll pull some studs out of the way to put his tub and shower in place so he can put it in where he needs to be. The HVAC guys will come in, they'll cut the floor. They could cut a floor joist, and if they put something in the ceiling, they could cut a ceiling joist. And also then the electricians, when they come in and they might need to move something out of the way or they cut something. So it's a little... It's different, but what I'm trying to say is the framing inspector will look for all these imperfections in the house, and it will fall back onto the framer to come in and fix all those necessary repairs that the other subs made. Normally the framers aren't too happy about that, but they all seem to work well together and coordinate it, and it's minimal, but it does happen out there. Number 21, insulation and air infiltration. So both of those are inspected. So you're insulating the walls, you just stand up your insulation, or they screen it off to blow it in. Ceiling insulation, they might not do it at that point because they use the sheetrock if they're blowing it in to keep it from falling down. Air infiltration, that's for energy code. So anywhere that you have, say, an outlet on exterior walls, any kind of penetration, you have to caulk that or foam that so you don't have air coming in. Now, one little word of advice to people, if you're having a house built and you've been checking it out and stuff, going in a house after it's been newly insulated, I don't recommend that. That stuff is airborne. It's floating around. It'll get in your hair. It'll get in your eyes. It'll go down your shirt. And then if it's fiberglass insulation, it can be a little nasty. So until it's swept out and sheetrock, I highly recommend if you want to just stay away. And also too, if you're building a house, you just can't walk onto the builder's house because it is his house. He's the one who owns it. You don't own it until you close on it. So they do have restrictions on that, and you have to honor that. You just can't go out to the job site because there's a liability there. Number 22, garage overhead doors, or better known as garage doors, the big ones. They'll install those and possibly the garage door opener, but at this point, now that you have exterior doors and you put a garage door, the house can be locked up. Number 23, cultured stone, I like to call it phony stone, or brick, or stucco accents are applied at this point. Because the cider already started, let's talk about the main body. They're doing their siding. They leave those areas for where those accents will go. So they're working on that. Now, at that point too, the house most likely, because it's already been inspected for everything and it's ready for sheetrock, you'll have the sheetrock truck come out and load up the house, whether, again, single story, it'll be bringing it through different windows, rooms. They load it up. They split that load. And the reason too they split it up, if you were to put all that sheetrock in one area, dollar to donut, it's probably going to go through the floor with the weight of sheetrock. So they try to split up the weight throughout the whole house, but it's stacked and ready for drywall or sheetrockers to come in and get ready to hang. And they could be doing that while the guys are outside working on the stucco or the phony stone, like I mentioned. Number 24, sheetrock is installed. After all the sheetrock has been hung, now they'll come back and they'll mud, tape, and textures. They'll texture the ceiling and they'll texture the walls. Number 25, interior paint. Now this can vary from builder to builder, as I mentioned before the process, but my experience in the past, my painters used to like to come in when there was no cabinets in place, no floor finishes, anything of that nature, so they didn't have to be responsible for covering it or damage it. So they come in and they paint the ceiling and they paint the walls. And also at this point, your interior trim is most likely going to be dropped off in the garage now that you have garage doors in place, so it's secure. And sometimes even then, they might even drop off the cabinets in the boxes in the garage. Number 26, the trim carpenters. Once the interior has been painted, they'll come in, the trim carpenters, and they'll hang the interior doors. They'll do the casing around the doors. They will put the wood shelving in the closets. They'll put the base molding down, and if there's any crown molding, they also put that in place. Number 27, fireplace surround is finished. So if there's tile or any stone or any kind of detail, accent, this is when the fellow will come in and finish off that. And if there's a hearth, they'll lay the hearth. It just depends on the finishes, but that's normally when they come in. Number 28, underlayment installed on floors. This is in preparation for cabinets to be installed or for other floor finishes to be applied. Number 29, exterior paint. So the whole house, the body of the house will be painted. Then they'll come back and they'll paint the trim around the windows, maybe in an accent color. And if there's any other details, this is when they'll paint that. Number 30, cabinets installed. So cabinets throughout the kitchen, the bathrooms, and possibly the laundry room will all be installed at this point. So let's put this on pause right here. I did this in 3 parts so it wouldn't be so time consuming. There are a lot of steps when you build a home. I try to make this a Reader's Digest version. So don't forget to watch part 3, the finish of this series. If you have any questions about new construction or want to know about any new construction homes or neighborhoods, give me a call or leave comments and questions below and I will answer you. It would be great if you like and subscribe. It keeps me going. And hit that notification for new videos. I post every week. Watch part 3 for the final steps to building a home. Until next time, take care.